Okay, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Nightcap with Scone, a show that was born out of COVID when wasn't nobody doing nothing but sitting around drinking anyway. So we said, you know what? Let's fire up a live stream and talk about anything. So if you're new to this show, it's pretty easy. We talk about sports. We talk about media. We talk about booze. We talk about anything you want to talk about. And as long as y'all are sitting here asking questions, I'll keep firing away with opinions and answering them all. Love to remind you about Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Super fired up for this new venture and the reaction we've gotten so far. So very, very grateful for all of you. Terrible rain and weather in the area tonight. Got an issue with your roof? Give us a shout. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. All the info scrolling there at the bottom. If you'd prefer to call, you can do that. Okay. It's regional week, so it's Wednesday night, so it's Nightcap. As I always ask you, let me know what you got. Candidly, y'all, I'm having a beer. So I did pull out Elijah Craig 18, and I even have a rocks glass. I was just going to pour it neat, but I pulled out Elijah Craig 18 if I feel like I'm in the mood, but it may just be a beer night for your boy. And by the way, big shout out to our friends at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. We'll be at Sportsbook at LeBears for UFC 302 VIP watch party coming up on Saturday. If you want to watch fights, Dustin the Diamond Poirier, who just signed on as an endorser, spokesperson for Bud Light as well. Official beer UFC. So we'll be over there at the Sportsbook at LeBears watching the fights. So hope to see a lot of y'all there. Okay, regional week, y'all. LSU and Wofford on Friday, 11 a.m. We've gone through it a good bit. For those of you who are new, haven't heard my feelings on it. Wofford as a team has hit 340. They got an ace in Zach Cohen, who numbers look real good, but he's a 5'11 guy who throws low 90s. And I don't know that the stuff is really special, but they've also played one Power 5 team all year. One. It was Georgia, and they lost 18-6. Got run ruled in 8 innings. So I don't think you mess around. I think you roll a Gage jump out there against Wofford. You get the win. You go out there against Luke Holman, most likely against North Carolina. You win that one, and you got to go win a game. So after that, so see what the Tigers can do this weekend with Wofford and then North Carolina, presumably. LSU football, a lot of interesting stuff. James Simon picked Texas, the running back out of Louisiana, and I can tell you candidly, man, a lot of conversations I've had, I don't think that kid thought he could play at LSU. I know that's going to sound weird, but with 2 running backs already committed for 2025, I think he felt he was going to get stuck in a long jam and wasn't going to be able to win the job, and so. All right. That's that. Anything else you'll want? Fire away. Tano Passanio with a torn Achilles. I don't know that the Saints go sign another defensive end. I mean, with Chase Young already there, Carl Granderson, Cam Jordan. You got those 3, and then after that, I mean, can Isaiah Foskey, can Peyton Turner be part of your rotation? What about Trajan Jeffcoat, one of the other undrafted guys? I think you roll and see what you got. So anyway, all right, here we go. Fire away. You know the drill. Chico Lynch stumbled onto YouTube at the right time or the wrong time, depending on who you ask there, Chico. Cameron, Devin, what's going on? Moved from BR to Arizona, hoping for an LSU Arizona Super. Cameron, I'm actually hoping that we get a BR Super is what I want. I want LSU to beat North Carolina, and I want somebody to upset Arizona so we get that Super here in Baton Rouge, man. Kevin, having a debate, which is better, regular Oreo, double stuffed, or mega stuffed. Man, probably going to surprise you, man, but I'm good with the regular Oreo. Sometimes, leave well enough alone. So I don't need double stuffed or mega stuffed. I don't need all that in there. The regular Oreo is a perfect ratio. You dip it in milk, you let the cookie get a little bit softer, and I think that's perfect. And take this from a fat guy that's addicted to sugar. I know. Patty, what's going on there, man? Yeah, I'm not going for the double stuff. Sorry. Kerry Hughes, good evening to the Smokies. All right, my dude. Brad Baker, how do you think LSU stacks up in the Chapel Hill Regional? Wofford has a potent offense that worries me. Yeah, here's the thing, Brad. Wofford at no point this season has seen anything resembling Gage jump. I mean, yes, I've talked a lot about Wofford since this draw came out. And you can go look at their statistics, and they're impressive. Of their 9 everyday regulars, 7 of them hit over 300. The other 2 hit 291 and 292, respectively. Marshall Toole hits 383. As a team, only 75 homers, or 74 homers, not a ton. They do steal a lot of bases. They've stole 144 bases. That's a lot. But man, look at. They have played one Power 5 opponent all year, just one. And man, I look at that one Power 5 opponent in Georgia, and they lost 18-6 to Georgia. And I'm going, man, what should I actually believe this team is? Like, yes, you hit 340 as a team, and I get it, man. LSU has played a lot of midweek games against teams they could have blown out, didn't. But man, it's different when you're facing Hagen Smith and the best the SEC has to offer week in and week out, and they haven't. So, Wofford's RPI is 46. Their strength of schedule is 119. Their non-conference strength of schedule is 224. They've played 4 quad 1 games all year. They're 1-3. It was the game against Georgia and the 3 games they played against Charleston, which has an RPI of 42 and got left out, and they lost 2 out of 3 to Charleston. Got blanked on the Friday night game. So, man, I'm not trying to be completely dismissive. You go and win 41 games. That's impressive. And I understand it. You hit 340, but my goodness, they played 4 quad 1 games all year at 1-3. So they played 7 quad 2 games. They played 26 quad 3 games and 22 quad 4 games. They played a shit pile of a schedule. So LSU should go win this game, but you're also going to throw Gage jump in that game because you're not messing around. You're going to go throw Gage jump because you're not going to let them threaten to run up against the guy who they see in the midweek from time to time. So, no, you're going to go through a Gage jump. You're going to dominate Wofford. You're going to go out there against North Carolina through Luke Holman and try to go 2-0 and make somebody come out of the loser's bracket and beat you twice. Cortland, what's good? Good morning, wait. Bobby, what's the pour? Again, I'm drinking a Bud Light, but I do have Elijah Craig 18 here in the event that I do decide I want a whiskey pour, and I may. Vaughn, what's going on? Devin, you got the wrong one, bro. You got the wrong one, dog. Jesse, good evening. How are you? I have a large selection, so I have to make choice on my pour tonight. Randy, all about sports. How do we think Nate Ackenhausen has a pro future? The thing about, look, man, no, I don't. When you look at prospects, you look at projectability. So you look for projectables, you look for size, you look for arm strength, you look for things that are projectable traits. Why will Chase Shores next year is going to get drafted and paid a lot of money. Why? Because he's 6'6" and throws 100. The kid Cohen from Wofford, who's 5'11" and throws 90. There's nothing projectable about that. So even though he's thrown 118 innings this year and has been a really good pitcher for them, there's nothing projectable there. He can be a good college pitcher, just not a good pro prospect. Damon, what up? Bart, what's going on? Bill, for those that were asking, North Carolina is a state with most teams at 27. Yeah, I got that answer this morning, Bill. Juan shared that with us. So Juan gets the gold star, Bill. He was here this morning with that answer. Craig, what's going on? Let's go, boss. I vote for Matt to pull out the good stuff, pour out the mellowest of corn, please. Brett, what's going on? Okay. I don't know that Be Sober pick. Aaron, good evening from Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina, 40 minutes from Chapel Hill. Had to be out of state this week and talk about pissed. I don't blame you, man. Yoel Sanchez. Game coin update. They haven't posted in a while. Did the beta test seem pretty cool? Simple, cool. So, yes, the beta testing went exceptionally well. And here's the weird thing about it, Joel, is the beta test was for a desktop, but most people still used it on mobile. And that wasn't even the mobile app. And very few people had anything to even say about that, like negative. So yeah, man, I think it went very well. So thank you for the feedback. Dustin, good evening. Sipping some old Granddad 114. That a babe smoking a Rocky Patel. That sounds good too. Randall, does Jay have bonuses in his contract for regional wins, etc.? I'm sure he does. Let's see. $200,000 bonus if they win the national championship. $75,000 if they reach the College World Series, and another $75,000 if they reach the World Series final. I don't see anything in here about regionals. Here you go. If LSU hosts a super regional, he gets $50,000. That's it. That's it. Gary, good evening, Uncle Scone. Don't know if you touched on this. Pitchers for Wofford and UNC, what are our chances? So I just went over Wofford, right? Wofford has a guy the guy's name is Zach Cohen. He's Cowan. He's their Friday night guy. Interviewed a dude from Wofford who covers Wofford today. And the guy interviewed actually went to school at South Carolina. So has watched SEC baseball and all that sort of stuff. And I said, how would you comp Zach Cohen? Like, is he a SEC Friday guy, a Saturday, Sunday guy, a midweek guy? He said, he's probably like a Saturday, Sunday guy in the SEC. So the point being, it's nothing that you haven't seen. Now, North Carolina has their 2 weekend guys. One is a true freshman. The other is a transfer from Elon. So neither of those guys have seen LSU in a regional, in a pressure-packed moment like that. So I like LSU a lot as far as the pitching matchup. I like Jump Holman over Zach Cohen, and then whichever of the two Carolina throws in game 2, presuming you're playing Carolina in the winner's bracket game. Joe, good night. Do you think Jay will change his lineup, or is he going to roll with what he's been going? I mean, leave well enough alone. The only thing I could see, Joe, is if you want a lefty, you're going to put Jake Brown in center. If you want a righty, you're going to play Mac Bingham. That seems to be what he's doing. I'm not telling you what I would do, but that just seems to be what he's going to do. Michael Cook, let's see. Let my boy Paris Jingle ain't hitting. Sorry, man. Devin, I'm sincerely not interested in if you think the Paris Jingle is hitting. The only thing I care about with the jingle is it an earworm? Will people remember it? And it's an earworm. Let's see. La Pluche, Kid Rock loves Bud Light. He does love Bud Light. It's interesting that he's also the guy that started the whole fiasco by shooting a gun at a bunch of cans, and then a bunch of sheep just followed his lead. Strong side, Nightcap is back, 3rd week. Rocky, what's going on? Pop the course on a Gray Goose. Antique 107. Trivia, what's up? Craig, if you pull out the EC18, I'll finish my bottle off as well, sipping on some Noah's Mill. Noah's Mill's a good pour too, man. Noah's Mill and Rowan's Creek are both, it's like you either love them or you hate them. There's just no there's no in between. You know what I mean? It's such a distinct flavor on both those pours. Blind taste, you know immediately what you're sipping, and you either love it or you hate it. Devin, how do we get in the VIP watch party? So this Saturday, UFC 302 at L'Auberge. It's open to the public. So if you want to come by and watch the fights, come by, watch the fights. What we've been doing as a radio promotion for the giveaway is we'll have 8 winners, and each winner gets 2 guests. So it's an 8 plus 2, right? The winner plus 2 guests. And you'll get VIP table seating in front of the big screen at Sportsbook at L'Auberge. You'll get food buffet for the night and all the Bud Light you can drink, courtesy of our friends at Mockler Beverage. So, the reason it all came together, of course, Bud Light's the official beer of UFC. Dustin Poirier, who's headlining the event, just signed on as an endorser for Bud Light as well. So a lot of good synergies with the event. And man, dude, Poirier Makhachev is going to be an awesome fight, man. I cannot wait for this. And look, candidly, every time I see a dude fighting the UFC now that has the beard with no mustache, I'm like, somebody getting ass beat by this Eastern European guy or Middle Eastern guy, whatever. I mean, those dudes are fucking animals. They kill everybody. So I'm really pulling for Poirier. I hope he gets this shit done, but Makhachev is, all them dudes are just different. So let's see, bro. I'm pulling for the Lafayette boy. I'm pulling hard for him. I hope like hell he wins. It's gonna be a fun time, man. But yeah, anybody's welcome to come, man. But we'll pick the 8 winners tomorrow in AFR. All right, I like this one. Joe Simon, top 5 whiskeys for less than $100. So, Joe, I would actually probably narrow it down because, man, listen, you could find stuff in the upper reaches, the 80, 90 range, $100 range that are really good. But what I always try to say to people is, look in the 50 range or less. Like Elijah Craig small batch is $27. Basil Hayden is $30. If you want to mix in a rye, Sazerac rye is $20-$25, depending on where you shop. I love Four Roses single barrel, which is a $50 bottle. Old Elk straight bourbon whiskey is a $50 bottle. Those are awesome. I mean, any of those are great sippers. Angel's Envy. I liked Angel's Envy much better as a $40 bottle than I do as a $60 bottle. But you can get Angel's Envy rye, which is in the $90 range, and that's a different tasting rye, and it's delicious. The Whistle Pig 10 years, that's gone up in price as well too. But that's another awesome bottle for less than $100. So there's so many great. Like I wouldn't buy anything that's $100 or more unless if it's allocated. Unless if it's an allocated bottle that I'm getting at fair retail, I wouldn't buy anything for over $100. Or let me put it this way. It'd be very rare for me to buy something over $100 unless it was allocated. Quentin, good evening. Julia Sauteria made fun of his mustache today. I don't blame her. It looked ridiculous. So Julia works at Alexander's and has seen Drew since he was a little bitty. Matthew Vincent, what's up? Who's your top LSU corner for 2024? Good question, Matthew. I will say a healthy Zy Alexander. I don't know that I saw anything from J.K. Johnson this spring to tell me differently. I don't know if P.J. Woodland is a true freshman is ready to be that. And I don't know if Stamps or Toviano have grown up enough to be that. So, and I know he's a former FCS guy coming off a torn ACL, but if he's healthy, I would still say that it's Zy Alexander. Jeff, good evening. A little larceny barrel proof. Okay. 125.4. That a babe. Damon Hinderberger. Okay. Let's be store pick. Brian Holland. Oh my God, Scone, why are you texting me? Let me enjoy North Carolina in peace. Thank you for being there, Brian. Please tell Rachel and the family I said hello. And I texted the whole text line, man. Thank you for subscribing to my text line. It's free. Michael Thacker, good evening. Got a tour of a few distilleries along the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky over the weekend. Neat. Get it. Stuff. 10 out of 10 recommend. Awesome. Eric, did you hear Hunt's breakdown on Wofford today? I did not. Thought he made some good points. Ready to see the Tigers in the regional. Happy the Tigers made it to postseason and broke the natty curse. Mr. Wallace can't hang with most of her friends regarding LSU Saints game days. They don't have a clue. You do. Go Tigers. I love it. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Thank you for being there. Vaughn, what's good? Does Drew miss school or like being? Oh, no. Drew wants to be at school. Drew is, that's our son, for those who are new and don't know. Drew is a routine-driven little boy. Like, he has got to know. He is crazy about his routine. He has to know what's coming. He has to know the order of things, and they have to be in order. And if they're not, that's a problem. So, and he doesn't understand why he's not going to school. Like, he doesn't understand what the summer is. So the fact that one day he woke up on a Monday and he's not going to school anymore is very confusing to him. And then, like, daddy's staying home, and then, like, Mimi's not here. And it's very, very confusing for his little brain. So no, we very, very anxiously look forward to him going back to school because it's great for him and he loves it. Let's see. Devin, I threw home and then jump. Devin, they're what and what. And ultimately, Jay's going to look and see if there is a distinguishing factor in either lineup. Like, if there's an ordered amount of lefties or righties, or if the splits show differently, that one team struggles more against lefties and righties, you may flip them. But most likely, you're going to see Holman go first and Jump go second. Let's see. Did you and Belosso's dad ever get together for the drink? No. And look, the bottles, right? You see this Blanton's right here? The green thing behind it? That's the Blanton's I'm still waiting to open with Hot Rod and Kate Beloso. Father John David Mathern feels like we need to stay in the winner's bracket. LSU's got to stay in the winner's bracket the entire postseason. Like, this team does not have the luxury of coming out of the loser's bracket. Just look at the issues you had in game threes all year long in weekends. You had a miserable time trying to win a game three. I mean, you won a game three against Missouri and a game three against Ole Miss, and that was it. I mean, you were 2-8 in game threes in league play. So anyway, I mean, sorry, 1 second. So then some may say, well, then save Jumper Holman for game three, but the problem is you got to get there. And if you lose one of the first two games, then you're screwed either way. You got to start 2-0. And then if you start 2-0, one of those teams has to go win an elimination game, then come back and beat you twice. So the odds of them having enough pitching to make it are not very good. And best case scenario for LSU is you get into a situation where you've got Ackenhausen available in game three, and you could piece together an Ackenhausen, Ulloa, Lore, Guidry type, Dutton type day like that. David Tolson, what's going on? Drop some knowledge. Ben saw the Crane Company interview with Underwood. I see why it was brought up on AFR. Yep. So it turns out that's the Cavender twins that were behind them, and they later came on Crane and Company. Joey Metke, Matt, sorry it's been a while since I caught you on a live stream. All good. I hope it's well with you and the family. Thank you, Joey. Cortland have DBU winning the Tucson Regional. I assume DBU would get to host over LSU. They would not. LSU would host. If LSU ends up winning the if LSU ends up winning the Chapel Hill Regional and there's an upset in Tucson, LSU would host the Supers. Ryan or Rain? Let's go Ryan. Texas A&M video where tagged in was hilarious. Never seen a fan base continue to embarrass themselves so much. Mark Abear, other than Skeens and Cruz, who was the first Tiger from last year's team to reach the majors? Good question. I'll go with I'm considering a lot of things. I'm considering the organization that these players are in, the position they play, etc. Relievers always have a bit of a fast track because there's a lot of relievers, right? And if you're a reliever and you can deal, you can pitch. Someone goes down, they need an arm, you get called up. I had half a mind to say Tommy White, who hasn't even been drafted yet, but I think could be the answer depending on where he goes. I worry about Trey Morgan. Trey Morgan's hitting 450 in high A right now, which is insane. But I just don't know that Trey Morgan makes it to the show as a first baseman. That's gonna cause a lot of conversation among y'all, but I think he's got a better shot as an outfielder if he can make it there. Yeah, man, I may go Tommy White, even though he hadn't even been drafted yet. I'd go Tommy White. Joe, I agree with you, Matt. Regular Oreo all the way. Am I that far behind on comments? I'm 20 minutes behind. Peyton Morbin, how much have you benched? 320 is the most I've ever benched. So never hit the 400 mark, but I have benched over 300 before. Tony, Matt, get even from Orlando. Make defense great again. What's your 21st birthday story you couldn't tell on AFR? So our intern today, Kibi, today is her birthday. She turned 21. And so I started to tell you, like, that's the only day of my radio career where I've been late. So I was working at WIBR and I was doing news and I was producing Ed Buggs's show in the morning. So we were on from, I can't remember if it was 6 until 9 or 6 until 10. But so went out for my 21st the night before, on the night of my 21st. Went to Mellow Mushroom, played open mic with my buddy Dr. Ski Batansky, shout out. And then we ended up going to the pirate bar that's attached to the Waffle House on College Drive. If you know where that is, like College and Corporate, that Waffle House, there's a pirate bar, Pirate's Cove or something like that. And we went there because my other friend was chasing this girl and that's where she was going, and so he wanted to go there, and I was like, it's my 21st birthday and I'm going to basically be your wingman. I was like, fine, but you're driving me and you're buying all my beer, all my booze. So he did so I had a ride and I had somebody pay for all my booze, and I drank way too much, just put it that way. I mean, it's 21st birthday, whatever. So I go home and I set my alarm, and I don't know how I set my alarm, but somehow I managed to set my alarm. And at this point, I was still in school, but I had moved back from Holy Cross, and I was living at my parents' house. I was living at home I moved out by campus the next semester. But so I went into my room, and so like the way that the hallway was configured, if you walk out of my parents' room, you're looking right at my bedroom door. Like my parents had a hallway to the master, and like as if you open the door and you're looking right at my bedroom door. Well, I must have sat on my bed, right? So like the bed, like if you walk into my room, the bed was perpendicular, right? So I must have sat like on the side of my bed looking at my door. So like looking at my door down the hall to what would have been like my parents' room, right? And I must have like dropped trowel and just fallen back on my bed and passed out. And so I wake up and my dad is waking me. My alarm is going off. Don't hear it. My light is still on in my bedroom. And I was just laying there with my feet on the ground, having just fallen back on the bed and just passed out for, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours. And he's waking me up. Matt, you're late. So, I mean, the show started at 6. So I had to just like wash my face and get out of the house and go to work. And we lived in Shenandoah, and the studio was on Wooddale, which is off of Florida. I mean, it's not close. You go Airline by Parkview north to Florida at the Florida and Airline interchange, and then you're going west on Florida to Wooddale. Anyway, I was late, and Kevin Neely, God bless him, Kevin Neely, we'd sort of just like flip formats, or not flip formats, but just started to say. So Kevin Neely was working at the station as well, and was producing Condon show. Condon was on WIBR at the time as well. And Kevin was there in the morning, and so he was starting the show since I was late. And Kevin smoked a lot, and I remember him like coming into the studio. He'd run in the garage and smoke a cigarette, come back, and the smell of the smoke was so vile because I had so much to drink. I was just sick. And I probably threw up 3 times in the bathroom that morning at work. It was a disaster. I've never been late again. I would never, ever do that again. You learn a lesson once and it sticks forever. But now you can tell why I wasn't going to tell that story on radio, but I'll tell it here. On my 21st birthday. Anyway, Tyler, surprised LSU submitted a bid for a super. No, they want to host super regionals. So you got to submit a bid. So they submitted a bid. Smash the like button if you would. 316 people watching live. Love y'all so much for that. If you're new, subscribe up to the channel. As always, shout out to Parrish Construction and Roofing. I've been telling y'all, we had a relationship with another roofing company for the last 3.5 years. Good partnership. We recently all mutually decided to go our separate ways, just sort of different vision of how to grow and scale. So me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and our whole group we started a new company, and it's all the same people, but it's Parrish Construction and Roofing. So parishbuilt.com. All the info's down here. If you need a roof repair, roof replacement, commercial, residential, if you have your scope of work already from the insurance company, we'd love to have the opportunity to earn your business. Parishbuilt.com, or the phone number's right here. Everything's scrolling right on the bottom. Let's see. We will see Nichols and LSU Nichols match up in Omaha. Got to play solid defense Friday. We'll be fine. Chance of seeing Shores. I don't think you're going to see Shores in the postseason. Again, I'll repeat it. I think they should. Because you're not, like, if you're just trying to maintain a redshirt year for Chase Shores, he's not going to spend a 4th year in college. Rocky, did anyone know any of the New York Giants have the most Hall of Fame quarterbacks, or am I the ignorant one? Okay. I mean, the New York Football Giants have been playing for a long time, so I mean, I guess I could believe it. Heaven Hill. Bardstown, Jim Beam, Michters. Another good one. Ryan, what's going on? A little tequila and lime tonight. Roy Kent, Wofford reporter you had on, thinks Wofford has an ace pitcher who would be a weekend starter in the SEC. He also thinks not having postseason experience helps. I don't know that he said not having experience helps, but I asked him, like, would he be a Friday night guy? So he's probably Saturday, Sunday guy, which makes sense. Like, could you? Yes. I mean, if that guy were on LSU's roster, would he be the number 3 on LSU? Yes. He would be a better Sunday option than what LSU has. So I believe that. Steven, evening, Scone. Not sure if anyone mentioned it. The girls in Bryce Underwood were the Cabin Twins. We did find that out near the end of the show, but thank you for the clarification. Heard anything about Christian Little? Not had an update. And I think they were going to probably wait till tomorrow to make a determination for Friday because they got to decide if he's going to be on the postseason roster for this regional. Cortland, more concerned our bats versus North Carolina's pitching than I am about our pitching. UNC top 15 ERA, our toughest series were to good pitching teams. That's fair. I'd also say I think LSU offensively has found its groove in part because Jay has found a lineup and stuck with it. You don't have guys pressing because they're looking over their shoulders, wondering if they have an over 4 day or they're going to get pulled. I think I also am not super sold on North Carolina. I get it. They're the 4 seed. And they won, 42 games or whatever it was. The ACC was down this year. And again, they're 2 like co-aces are a true freshman and an Elon transfer. So it's not exactly like you're seeing 97 from the left side, I think it's manageable. I don't think it's any more difficult than anything you've seen in the SEC all year long. Stacy, good evening. Got some old-fashioned sweet tea tonight. In the leather shop, Nightcap is just the thing to sip tea and join in the convo with my LSU and Louisiana family from Colorado. Love it, Stacy. Thank you for being there. Let's see. Aaron, what's good? Tyler, hit the like button for Matt giving us Nightcap. Stefan, Matt, we have people saying Jay is starting ACK. Should I call them stupid or remain silent? This is the same coach that started arguably the best pitcher in NCAA history against Tulane. Yeah. So I sat here on Monday and did morning Scone. And on Monday morning, I told you that my information was LSU was in the Chapel Hill Regional. They were playing Wofford in the 2-3 game, and they were paired with Tucson. And a couple hours after morning Scone, you all learned that LSU was in the Chapel Hill Regional playing Wofford in the 2-3 game. They're paired with Tucson. It's safe to say my info is good. When I have info, it's good. Okay. I have not had anybody tell me that they're starting Ackenhausen. And man, short of Jay Johnson calling me and telling me I'm starting Nate Ackenhausen, I think my info might be from the next best person. So, I'm not saying he won't because I don't want to speak in absolutes. I'm just telling you, I don't know where anybody's getting that from because I don't believe anybody's got better info than I do. I'm not saying people have better opinions or know more than me. I'm saying info, not anything that I've done through experience. I'm just saying like getting good info. I'm just looking at history, and I watched Jay Johnson throw Paul Skeens against Tulane, and that wasn't like a good Tulane team. That was a Tulane team that was sub 500 a year ago. And you threw, that was like using a bazooka to kill a squirrel. Why? A little BB gun would have been just fine. Ben, good evening. All right. Can you give my son Bo Boudreaux a shout out for his birthday, turn 10? Heck yeah, I can. Bo Boudreaux, happy birthday to you, dude. You know what? I know you're not old enough to have a beer, but one day you will. So cheers to you, Bo Boudreaux, on this, your 10th birthday. I hope it's the best 10th birthday you could ever have in the history of the world. I hope you had an awesome cake, all the presents you could have possibly wanted, and your mom and dad were treated you like a king. So go on, Bo Boudreaux. Have an awesome rest of your 10th birthday. And here's to many, 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 many more. Ryan Thibodeau drinking a little Yingling tonight. Paris coming back to Napoleonville. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. Love it, man. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, so Ryan reached out, asked us at Parish to go down to the Napoleonville Fire Department, volunteer fire department. So shout out to you as well, Ryan. They had a little roof issue they needed help with, and so we're hoping we can help them out with that for sure. Let's see. All right, Ben, Aaron, Bubba, William, Matt. Been seeing the Pit Viper around. You had it? Not had Pit Viper. Lou, how about Tennessee getting paired with Wake likely in the Supers? That would be something. If Wake goes on as the 2 seed and wins, and we see a Tennessee Wake Super, and then you'd see Chase Burns against his old team. Love you, Matt. No new info tonight. See you tomorrow. All good. Thanks for being here. Everybody listens or watches or consumes at different times. So I do say a lot of the same things on a lot of different platforms, just a matter of when you're here. Juan, looking back as a kid who grew up in Ecuador, going to LSU is the best thing that ever happened to me. Juan's been an OG, man. Been around a long time. Juan's been around since the Score 12-10 days. Tiger Diver, what's up, Scone? Why do they call it the marble game? I don't know, Tiger Diver. That's a Hannah-Griff question. I bet Hanny would know that. The marble game of the regional, maybe it has something to do like with the marbling of the steak. I don't know. Let's see. For all the marbles, why do they call it the marble game? Whoops. Why do they call it the marble game in baseball? Game for all the marbles? Yeah, for all the marbles. That's what it seems to stand for. That's what Google's saying anyway. All the marbles. It's for all the marbles. It's the best explanation I see so far. Anyway. Let's see. When you get the best afternoon sports radio host on late night. Thank you, Aaron. William, I haven't heard an update on Little. Should know tomorrow. Tyler, I know LSU fans travel well. Any numbers on the amount of LSU fans expected in Chapel Hill? Look, I would say it's going to probably be comparable to when they played in Eugene or Corvallis. You know, you'll have family go, and then the diehards that travel. I would think you're probably talking somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 500 fans. I don't think it's a takeover situation completely. But I think I don't know that it necessarily matters. I mean, LSU's played at Starkville, at Fayetteville, at Knoxville. I mean, you've been through the meat grinder of the SEC. Nothing you see in Chapel Hill this weekend is going to be an outlier from what you've seen all season long. I don't worry about going to play in Chapel Hill. It's not about playing there, or the atmosphere, the fans, or any of that stuff, because it's not going to be harder than playing in front of 12,000 people at Arkansas or 15,000 people at Mississippi State. It's just not. It's just not going to be harder than that. I mean, it's the benefit of playing in this league. None of that stuff surprises you. None of that stuff overwhelms you. Brett, if we get a big lead Friday, do we pull jump early? No. I think you let jump pitch the whole damn game. And you save Herring if possible. You save Ackenhausen. That's the more likely scenario. I would love it if Gage Jump could do exactly what he did against Missouri, which was go give you 7 innings of shutout ball, and you're beating them 10-0, and so then you could go throw Helmers or Moffitt or whoever, to get through the rest, and you save all of your arms for the next 2 days. Ryan just worked 2 16-hour shifts. Still one more tomorrow. Wow. Cheers. Go on, you bro. Go get that money. Cheers. Educator, is Gage Jump draftable this year? What about Holman? Yes, both are. Both are in their draft year. So Jump, remember, had Tommy John last year. So this is his 3rd year, but he's a sophomore by classification, but it's his 3rd year, so he's draft eligible. So both those guys are going to be top 50 picks, and they're both going to sign. Justin Meyer, can't wait to see how Moffitt progresses. If Moffitt's, that's another one you got to worry if he's back next year. Adam Penny, good evening. Sipping on some Weller to celebrate the purchase. My first house. That a boy, Adam. Congratulations, man. What a moment. Good for you. Jeremy Fall, just tuning in as an LSU fan. We obviously all are. It's the unheard of teams that worry me. Maybe just a little PTSD from Stony Brook and Coastal Carolina, but facing Arkansas with Hagen Smith worries me a hell of a lot more than facing Wofford. It's like if you had to go face a team with a pitcher that was going to bring 97 from the left side, I'm way more worried about that than the 5'11" dude from Wofford that's going to throw 90. Craig, okay. Won that Be Sober pick from our group's Christmas party this past year. Tremaine, it's over 200 people in here like the butt. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that, Tremaine. Dustin Abear, I would be all in on Nutter Butter double stuffed. Oh, man, we're like 30 minutes behind on comments. Okay. Let me go to the most recent ones. My apologies. Zachary, MLB put at their top 200 draft picks. Herring was in the 120s. Do you expect him to go? Well, if he's taken in the 120s, yes. Remember, if you're taken in the top 10 rounds, you've agreed to a signing bonus. The biggest thing for Herring is, does he come back to try to be a starter? Because starters are always going to be taken higher than relievers. So does Herring come back with the opportunity to be a starter? And that's challenging because you got Cade Anderson. Yes. You got Cade Anderson. You'll have Chase Shores healthy next year. Cam Johnson. You better believe that Jay is going into the portal to get a starting pitcher somewhere. So, like, if Herring does come back with the idea of potentially being a starter, like, he's got to go win a starting job. So I'm telling you, Tommy White's gone. Luke Holman's gone. Gage Jump is gone. Like, there's certain, like, I believe Jared Jones is signing. He'll get $1.25 million thereabouts. He's signing as a draft eligible sophomore. The freshman, like Connor Griffin's gone. William Schmidt's gone. Like Cam Caminiti's gone. I am most interested in the draft eligible sophomores. Jones, Herring, Kling, and Guidry. And Kling and Guidry, not necessarily because I think they're going to be drafted. I think both of those guys might transfer. Guidry, if he wants to go play infield somewhere, it ain't going to happen here. So he may have to leave to go play infield somewhere and hit. And then Kling hasn't been able to hit against the SEC. Defensively, he's great. He's got the glove, the arm, the speed, but the hit tool isn't there. So maybe he goes and plays in the ACC or in the American somewhere and hits 300 against American pitching, whereas you're struggling against, instead of hitting 200 against the SEC, and he gets drafted higher. That's a possibility. I think those are the most interesting guys for me. I'll be right back. I got to go put Drew in his bed. Please smash the like button, subscribe up to the channel. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in less than 1 minute. Might not go too much longer, y'all. My apologies for that, but I have to leave for New Orleans at 7:30 in the morning to speak at the LAB conference, Louisiana Association of Broadcasters. So I got to go to New Orleans, do this hour-long deal with Jason Barrett, then drive back for my show tomorrow, and I still have to do our outline for our talk, and it's already 10:30. So, and I didn't get home tonight till almost 9. So I know that's going to surprise a lot of you because a lot of you think I only work 3 hours a day. But anyway, let's see if we can get a couple more. Juan's drinking a little pinhook rye. LSU on top. Rocky is next year's ace are on the roster. Do they go get one? Rocky, they are absolutely going into the portal to get another starting pitcher. But Chase Shores, Cade Anderson, Cam Johnson could absolutely be LSU's ace next year. The thing about Cam Johnson, which is stunning, is in the fall, Cam Johnson was untouchable. Cam Johnson in the inter-squad scrimmages was unfair. But there was 100 people in the stands. The thing that, as I understand with Cam, has been the problem is he's a guy that when the 100 people in the stands became 10,000 people in the stands, he just didn't handle that moment well. So, see. Mark Allen, Rocco's just sweating bullets. Vaughn, Bama's going to lose their marbles in November 2024. Okay. Stephen Walzak, UNC Stadium capacity is 4,100. Yeah, it's a small venue. Google is a casual. It don't know ball. Yeah, crazy. Let's see. Bass Pro Rotolos. Tell Musso he needs to learn from you and just repeat himself without mentioning that he told us this already. Okay. There is something to that. When you hear yourself say the thing over and over and over again, you got to realize that the audience hasn't heard you say it over and over and over again. John Wilson, what's your favorite bottle on the shelf back there? I would probably my Four Roses LE. I have two Four Roses LEs, the 2017 and the 2020 back there. But I got some great stuff up here, man. This is a Thomas Handy. This is a Rip 10. This is William LaRue Weller. This is Willett 7-year rye. A couple of Boss Hogs right here. Michter's 10 rye. I love this. Was the best bottle I got last year. The Parker's Heritage Double Oak. Some great stuff. I mean, here's all of the Wellers right here. So I'm fortunate, man. I got a lot of good stuff. I got a lot of unicorns back there. Dustin plus 425. God, he's such a big underdog in that fight. I mean, Makachev, man. Anyway, Danny, my son just heard you shout out someone for their 10th birthday. So can I get one for Joseph? His birthday was the 21st, also turned 10. So Danny, it was 8 days ago. It feels like we're bumping up on the statute of limitations there, because if I shout out a birthday from 8 days ago, then what's to stop someone saying my birthday was May the 4th? Can I get a birthday shout out? It's a little different than the shout out a bit ago, whose birthday was actually today. But I will, Danny, I know you to be a very loyal Sconer. So cheers to you, Danny, and cheers to Joseph, who turned 10 on the 21st. Shout out to you, Joseph Braywick. I hope your 10th birthday was awesome. I hope you got all the presents you wanted. I hope you had the biggest freaking cake and the best party ever, and you were so pumped for it, because I don't remember my 10th birthday, but I had some great, specifically, but I had some great birthday parties when I was young, and I remember they were great. But also, Joseph Braywick, your golden birthday will be when you're 21 years old. So 21 on the 21st, and that's an awesome golden birthday. My golden birthday was the 8th, and that's just not very cool, right? When you're 8, you just don't really care. So Danny, happy birthday to Joseph. Hope he had an awesome one. Cheers to you, Joseph. You can't drink this, but one day you will. Maybe on your 21st, you and I will make a toast. Cheers. Right. Thank you, Stefan. Definitely like using a bazooka to kill a squirrel. That's what it was like. Using Skeens against Tulane. Yeah, I mean, that was an atrocious Tulane team. It wasn't like that was a good Tulane team. That was a sub 500 team that got hot, won its conference tournament, stole a bid, and you used Paul Skeens to play him. That was to pitch against. It was not good. Will, I never speak in absolutes. Got it. I got you, Will. I got you. All caps, never. That's an absolute. Get it anyway. Let's see. Cade, Trooper. Thank you, Cade. Appreciate that very much. DBU Natty, hopefully a repeat, but I don't know. DBU Natty. Hey, Matt, hoping to catch Tiger Saturday in Chapel Hill. Hoping it's in the winner's brackets. Amen to that. It'd be 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. All right. Right. Couple more here. Gulf South, a few years ago when Scone was born. What was your angle? So William Hill was putting out on Twitter the percentage of bets and percentage of money on certain games. And I kept tracking it, and I found a very specific inflection point where the percentage of bets and the percentage of money were within a certain range. The concept was when the public goes one way, go the other way, because the books are going to win, right? The books always win in time. And I found an inflection. Now, it's been several years now, and so I don't remember exactly what it was right now. I'd have to go back and look. But it was a very clear inflection point, and it crushed for basketball and football. And I knew it was something when I started using it for hockey, when I couldn't name a single hockey player in the world, and I was winning hockey bets. And it worked, and I think I got greedy and started to see how much I could stretch that inflection point. So if let's say there were like 4 boxes that had to be checked, if it was like 3 and the 4th one was right there, I'd be like, oh, it's so close. And we bet it and lose. And so the tricky part was like when I was giving out the picks and then we'd lose, it was like, I don't want to be responsible for other people losing. So I just, when we started to skid a little bit, I was like, I'm done. But that was it. H. Willie, if you had to pick now, who's coming out of the Tucson Regional? I think West Virginia is going to come out of the Tucson Regional. Some of the convos I've had, West Virginia is a team that was out without 2 of its best players for the bulk of the season. They're both back, and I think they're a dangerous team. I think West Virginia wins the Tucson Regional. Chico, thoughts on Evan Williams White? Super cheap. I think it works well for mixing. So I don't mix. I mean, I drink whiskey neat, so I'm looking for sippers. So I'm probably not the best person to ask for that. But my answer to you, Chico, would be if you like it, then drink it. That's what I like. I'm not going to turn my nose up at anybody. Spirits are meant to be enjoyed. Drink what you like. What I don't really like is when people take high-end allocated whiskeys and mix them. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, you're defeating the purpose of getting a premium whiskey, which is meant to be enjoyed for the nuance and the subtleties of the spirit and the finish and all that sort of stuff. The flavor profile and the mash bill. That's the thing I don't understand. It's like, why would you do that? Like, it's like wiping your nose with $100 bill. Yes, it works, but you could wipe your nose with a Kleenex, and it's way more cost effective and practical. Like, don't take this bottle of William LaRue or Rip 10 and mix it with Coke. Use an $18 bottle of Jack. That just makes way more sense. Is there a page you can see who's on the postseason roster? No, they have to disclose that, I'm sure, to the media that asked. So let me see if I can find out when they make that decision. The bar by the waffle, Port Royal, the bar by the Waffle House. It's got like a pirate on it on the thing. All four teams in Tucson could take it honestly. Justin Meyer is in your chat. He knows a bit about. Is that Justin Meyer who pitched at LSU? Justin Meyer, was that Meier? Huh. When did Justin Meyer finish? I think he was on the 08 team, wasn't he? I wonder if that's Justin Meyer. Let's see. What year did he finish? Right. Oh, no, before then. Okay, hang on. His senior season was 06. My apologies. So Meyer went to Omaha on the 03 and 04 teams. So he was there for 4 years of smoke. Poof. Tough guy. Beef. Why was I thinking 08? I was close, but I wonder if that is the same Justin Meyer. If it is, cheers to you, Justin Meyer. Got to go play in Omaha a couple times, man, 03 and 04. I'm looking at it right here. Started 15 games in 04. That team beat A&M in the Supers at the box. Let's see. DBU easily, in my opinion. They are a Friday win over Arizona, multiple wins over Oklahoma State. Mark Allen, who's going to take over for him? For who? Ryan literally was about to read my comment, show it on the screen, then jumps to the newest one. Tough crowd. I'm sorry, Ryan. What did I miss? Oak and Eden. That's a good one. I'm sorry, Ryan, if I missed your other one. It sounds like I did miss your other one. My apologies. I'm going to pop some popcorn. What? Let's see. A few years ago. Oh, wait. I read that one. Sorry. Who's third base next season? I think, well, I can tell you confidently that they will probably add a third baseman out of the portal. They've already signed. Why do I keep forgetting this kid's name? Not Sacramento. Fullerton, my bad. Which is Trevor Schmidt. So Trevor Schmidt committed to Jay at Arizona, and played his freshman year at Arizona, although Jay had come to LSU. Left Arizona, went to Fullerton Junior College, where he's been the last 2 years. Trevor Schmidt. That's the guy they're bringing in essentially to be the first baseman to replace Jones. Stand on first base, catch the ball, and slug homers. And I do believe they are going to bring in a third baseman via the portal. And I think you obviously have a freshman class coming in. Kucherak could play short. Milam could move to second. Milam could stay at short. Kucherak could play second. You'll have options there. Richard, no apologies to be dead. Thank you, man. Most people get it, but just at the same time, want to be respectful of everybody's time. Tony, definitely have safe travels. Thanks for the show. You got it, my man. Scone, do you know any lower level top pitchers that Jay could possibly target in the portal? Well, nobody's gone in the portal yet, Mac. Remember, the portal window hasn't opened yet. I know there's some LSU guys that are going in the portal for sure, and it's not hard to figure out who's going to be in the portal from LSU for sure. And then there's some guys who are going to be questions, but yes, they're going to get a pitcher. They're going to get an infielder out of the portal. Jake Brown's your center fielder next year, which is why I think it's a giant question for Paxton Kling. You probably go in the portal and go find a place where you can be the everyday center fielder somewhere and probably hit 300 at a lower level. Ashton Larson's obviously going to be an outfielder for you next year as well. Let's see. Jay definitely needs the portal for a starter. Not missing a Chase Burns again, as he thought Hurd was going to be a Friday night guy. Sometimes you miss, man. Thought Mac Bingham was going to be an everyday player. You thought Lure was probably going to be a little bit of a bigger contributor than he's been. You know, Braswell led the SEC in errors and struggled early offensively. Now he's come on in SEC play clearly, and he's been a good player. But you know what I mean? Like you could have had Colby Shelton or Luke Hill. I mean, you know, they missed on some guys this year. There's no doubt. Rocky, don't know how you do, bro. Have a good trip in the morning. Well, I'll be doing morning scone on the ride down. Barney X Ross, how do you go about doing prep for a show? Where do you find topics, information? How much does Musso help? Curious how your show prep goes before you actually go on air. So, it's interesting. Well, so first of all, part of the answer to that is that you're never off. You're never completely unplugged. News and topics could happen at any time. Now, for a long time, my rule was for every hour I was on, I would prep 2. So for a 3-hour show, I'd prep 6. So I'd be at my desk at 9 a.m. prepping. I don't look at my show as a 3-hour show. I look at it as 12 10-minute segments. 4 segments an hour, roughly 10 to 12 minutes per segment. So when I look at it, for example, like on a Wednesday, I know I've got Around the SEC, I've got Tigers in the Pros, I've got Otter Locks, I got our Pluckers Trivia segment, I've got Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Clenger. That's 5 of my 12 already I know are done. Almost half the show before I even show up. Now, let's say we have 3 guests. Well, that's 8 of my 12 that are already done. So now I got to find 4 topics to talk about. And then I find those topics and I prep them. The thing that's really complicated my life, just very candidly, is taking on the program director job. Because and anybody that's you don't have to be in radio. If you're a manager wherever you work, you'll understand this. If you own your business or if you're a manager, you're a firefighter. Everybody's issue is your issue. When someone has a problem, they come to you. So my day is a never-ending revolving door of people coming into my office or texting me or calling me with their problems. And then I've got just an insane amount of meetings as well that I have to keep up with all the time. So it stretches me thin. So I had a conversation with Musso not long ago where it was just very candid. It was like, listen, you're not a button pusher. I don't want you to be a button pusher. Like, I need help and I need someone in that role that can help. And he's done a great job. So, I mean, I had an intern last summer that took it upon himself to put together a show prep document for me every day. And it was insanely helpful. I had never had help before. And it was insanely helpful. So I told Musso, like, you're going to do this every day. So he goes and puts together a show prep document, which is topics, potential accompanying audio, links that I may need, relative talking points, and it's a launching point for me. I've never given anybody autonomy to book guests, but I've tried to put that on Musso as well, and he's taken it and he's done well with it. But I also understand, like, it's very easy for me, having done this for so long, to pick up my phone, text Cole Kublik, and in 10 seconds I'll get an answer and get something, or whoever, you know what I mean? But at the same time, that takes time and forethought to think about how I want to structure a show. So a lot of that is just planning in advance. But Musso has been tremendously helpful. And it's always kind of been, my vision was to have producers that were actually producers and not just button pushers, like people that were actively involved in the show. I mean, it's very intentional. I mean, when one day he'll have his own show and he'll do his own thing. And I think this will be tremendously helpful, having gone through this and, and learning how to book guests and put together a rundown and how to prep and all that stuff. But also, building a Rolodex and learning how to prospect interviews. And, you learn a lot of tricks. Like, you want somebody, you go find them on Twitter, you DM them. You find them on Instagram, you DM them. A lot of times they have a phone number and email address in there, so you hit them up that way. Like, you hit them up 5 different ways, they're bound to see one of them. It's a lot of that stuff. So, it's long days, man. My days, I don't have a lot of downtime in the day. you know. Like today, woke up at 5:30, was out of the house at 5:38, went to the gym, was home at 6:30. I go to Hotworks. Hotworks, do, work out in a sauna. Was home at probably 6:40. Showered, got dressed, made Drew's first, backpack feed. Did my thumbnail for Morning Scone, 7:30. Started Morning Scone, 7:30 to 8:15. We did Morning Scone. I started Drew's backpack feed. Had a call with a client. Had another call with a client at 8:30. Did that till about 9:15. Drew's babysitter came over. I was out the door at 9:30. Had a 10 o'clock downtown. Then a 10:30. Then an 11. And then I had to be at LSU at Lod Cook for noon for the LaRuguru press conference and back. And then it's like you look up, it's 1:15. It's like I've been up since 5:30. I haven't started prepping the show. So that's why I have to have that help now. Like tomorrow, I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm going to be out the door at 7:30, driving to New Orleans. I'm on stage at 9:30. I got an hour and 10-minute set. So 10:40, let's say I'm back in my car by 11:15, depending on when I can get out of there. Drive from downtown, drive back to Baton Rouge. I'll be back 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I'll just be getting started, So it's a lot, man. Like, that's a long answer to your question. But yeah, there's just not a lot of downtime in my days when you talk about not only prepping the show and hosting a show, but client relationships. Like, we have a new client coming on Monday. Duplessis Builders. Derek Duplessis, super impressive guy. But I basically, he'll tell you, like, they wanted me to endorse him. He builds pools and outdoor kitchens. And I didn't just say yes. We went to lunch last week. I talked to him for about an hour and a half, vetted him, liked it. We talked for another 45 minutes today where I basically interviewed him about him and his business. Like, I don't ever just endorse people. You got to understand that, man. I will never suggest to you, hey, go patronize this sponsor just because they paid me. I'll never do that. Like, some of you may not believe it, but I've walked a ton of business. It's just because if I say, hey, go to business X and business X treats you badly, well, that's a reflection on me. Then why would you go to the 10 other businesses or 20 other businesses that I recommend? So, yeah, long answer. Sorry. I don't think any of you actually wanted any of this. Yeah, I don't think anybody actually wanted that long answer. Anyway. Yeah, Gulf South. You woke up at 5:30, out the door 5:30. Yeah, man. Alarm goes off, feet hit the floor. I walk into the kitchen. I do a amino acid powder in my glass of water, knock it back with a teaspoon of Baja Gold sea salt. I grab a bottle of Evermore, grab my yoga mat towel, and I'm out the door, bro. I'm in the car at 5:38. Yeah, 8 minutes, I'm out the door. Merrick, how's E-Rock's mom doing? Thank you for asking, man. She's doing better. She was over here. I wasn't here. I had to go somewhere after work tonight, but Papa Rock and Mimi were over here tonight swimming with Drew, and she's doing better. So ways to go. She's got a port in. She's getting IV antibiotics till through next Thursday, I think. But getting better, man. So thank you for asking. Gotta pray the spillway isn't a mess. You got it, man. Thank y'all for watching and listening, man. Matt, we need to take you to a job blue collar folks deal with. What do you mean? Hey, I'm not complaining, Earl. Please don't miss. I've never complained about my job, ever. I'm not complaining. I'm very lucky to do what I do. I say it all the time. I ain't digging ditches. I'm not building a railroad. I'm not complaining. I'm very lucky to do what I do. I just don't have a lot of downtime in my day is the point. My days are very, very jammed up. It is hard to find time to just breathe. I don't get downtime. So, I walked in the door at 8:45 tonight, got Drew ready to get in the bath, and Erica bathed him, and I walked in here to do this, and now it's 10:53, and I still haven't even done that thing I told you I got to do for the thing at 9:30 tomorrow morning at 11 hours in New Orleans. Anyway. Barry had to catch up at 1.5 speed tonight for a bit. That hits different. Gotcha. Thank you. I love talking about radio and media. I mean, it's fascinating. I've been doing it the majority of my life now, man. I've been 21 years. Half my life I've been in media. Lance, thanks for looking behind the curtain of the day. Never realized you were that busy of a guy. Yes, I'm that busy of a guy. But it doesn't. It's almost like the duck, man. It's got to look calm above the water, but under the water, it's constantly moving. Y'all don't see that during the show either. Like, to understand what it's like to be in a live show production, you see it when the mic and the cameras go on, but everything that goes on behind the scenes and stuff, it's frenetic. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that. That's cool. A lot of y'all seem to think that was insightful. That's cool. Thank you, man. Zachary, Masscom grad. There you go. Barry, Brock Otter, what's going on? Kirk knows it well. Kirk's a good dude, man. Kirk's an OG morning Sconer for sure, man. Kirk's been around a long time, man. From the Omaha days, now back to LA. Okay, I think we're Brett, second floor vehicle rare. There you go, dog. All right, y'all. I think we're about done. I got to get started on this route line for tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for watching. Behind the scenes of AFR would be cool to see. Well, Lance, we used to do that because I mean, the way our whole video, like our video concept, which is now our YouTube and all that stuff, started because I had, when Periscope was a thing, if y'all remember Periscope, I would just fire up Periscope on my phone and I would lean it against the glass that separated me and the producer, and I would just have Periscope going, and I would just live stream the entire show, so it breaks and everything. And when a few viewers became a few dozen viewers, became a few hundred viewers, is when management was like, that's interesting. And so they got me a Mevo camera and a dedicated phone, and so we started streaming on Facebook Live because we already had a little bit of an audience there. And that's what started to build, like, oh, you actually have a video presence. And that's whenever they went and spent the money to build the big video studio that we're in now and started all that thing. So we've done that before, the whole behind the scenes thing. Look at that. I watched you on Periscope. Hey, Lance, remember the old Periscope videos? Randall, Matt, will you ever take calls on AFR? Probably not. The thing is, Randall, like, I just told you what goes into me doing a show over the course of a day. Like, it is my job to be more informed and more entertaining than you. Anyone that calls, and by the way, the other part of it too is there's been so much market research done on this forever. The estimates that 2% of your audience would ever call. That's not what call regularly. Only 2% would I could dog cuss your mom and them, and only 2% would ever call. So people that take calls are pandering to the 2% because they're not talented enough or interesting enough or entertaining enough to do a show without taking phone calls. You need people to call in to fill time to do a show. Nobody has ever said, I just can't wait to hear that next caller. Because when have you ever, think of it this way, when have you ever thought to yourself when you heard a call, fuck, that was fascinating. I just never thought of that before. That was crazy. What enlightening shit. It never fucking happens. Sometimes you get doofuses that are only interesting because they're fucking human train wrecks, but you can't carry a show with that. So no, I won't ever take calls. Now here's the other funny thing too. This guy said the old school Huddle app chat room too, or was saying someone said like the Huddle was a mess, wherever it was. Here it was. Huddle was a hot mess. Yeah, there's a big difference, Kurt, from doing Freak Jury and taking calls. There's a big difference. But you understand that. What about it's not the answer we wanted? What about taking calls? It's true. Like who is so look at all the answers, dislike callers, like who is so narcissistic that you actually think I'm going to call into a show because people give a fuck what I think? You think they pay me to sit at that microphone and work my ass off and build an audience over all these years to turn over the reins of my show to some asshole anonymous person to call? Get the fuck out of here, callers. No thanks. And the thing about the Huddle is the funny thing about the Huddle on our app, number one, I actually named it, which was crazy because all the people in there hated me. It's because it's the 10 assholes who I don't give the time of day to. Same thing with the YouTube chat right now. It's the same 10 assholes in there every day, just spending the entire day in there, which is like, why would I care the thoughts and opinions of 10 assholes that sit in a radio station's YouTube chat all day on every show? Like, get a job. What the fuck are you doing here in this all day? Anyway, so no, like the feelings of those 10, 20, 50 people, I will not let that supersede the listening experience for my cumulative audience ever. But the irony of the Huddle is that it was those assholes who loved it so much that killed it, because the racist, sexist, misogynistic, awful things, homophobic, the awful, vulgar things that they posted in that app is why we got rid of it. Because all of those things, because Guarantee owned that app, we were liable for everything said in there. So all of the people who love that are the ones that actually killed it because of their behavior. So now on YouTube, we don't own YouTube. I mean, it's our channel. We can certainly monitor comments or put up guards or whatever. But it's a YouTube problem, not a 104.5 ESPN problem. All right. Yeah, you're right. This is the call-in show. This is the point. And there's a couple hundred people watching, and that's great. But when I have a massive daily radio and television audience, and it's a big audience, I'm not going to put the experience of the 99.9% in jeopardy for the feelings of the 0.1% that want to sit there and have their voice heard every day. And I think I've done pretty good with our model. I think every ratings, revenue, award, every single metric you could possibly imagine is validation of the way we go about doing things. Oh, God. Barry, how many total listeners are there for AFR listening from Florida? if you want to look at terrestrial radio, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, Lafayette, Lake Charles, online stream, live stream, podcast, and YouTube, it's a big number. So it's a humbling number, Barry. A lot. I'm not dodging your question. I'm just not gonna tell you a direct number. See, what about interviewing fans of the show that have become customers of your vendors and sponsors in July when it's slow? So absolutely not. Because number one, it's never slow. Okay. You will never hear the words out of my mouth, dog days of summer, and there's nothing going on. Because why would I ever tell my audience there's nothing going on? What a dumb shit thing to do. I'm not saying you're a dumb shit, Ryan. I'm saying when I hear people say that, I fucking cringe because there's always something going on. I found a way to do 3 hours a day during the fucking pandemic when there were no live sports for 6 months or whatever the fuck it was. You just have to find other ways to find topics that are interesting for your audience. So I'll never put people on. I'm not going to interview fans about what do I do? Like do a 3-hour commercial? No. I'm going to do content for the show. Again, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't mean to be disrespectful or sound like an ass, and this is going to come off this way to some of you. I don't think I need help. Like, I'm not saying I can't ever get better, but I don't need suggestions on what to do for content. Like, seems to be working okay. Yeah, it's great. Well, Steven said, curious, how do you track numbers of listeners on radio, YouTube pods? It's easy, obviously, on the digital platforms. So in radio, there are two different types of ways that they measure ratings. They have what's called a metered market and a diary market. And both are inexact. And quite honestly, I had to take media statistics at LSU, and I still don't understand it. Like I had to take a class on media statistics on like how to aggregate these numbers and all, and I still don't get it. If it's 11:06, so metered markets, they select a random number of people in that market. They give them a physical device that they connect to a radio, which tracks exactly what they listen to. A diary market, of which Baton Rouge is, people are selected at random and they're mailed a diary, and people are meant to fill out what they listen to and mail it back in. And for doing so, you get $5 or $10 or whatever it is. But it's a scientific sample. Now, how accurate are the diaries? I don't know. And candidly, like, to get those ratings is a very like you have to subscribe to Nielsen to get those ratings. And it's like a 6-figure annual subscription. And I'll tell you, 7 years ago, Guarantee stopped subscribing to Nielsen because we don't sell on ratings anyway. Like it used to be that people would buy spots and dots, and nationally, some people still do. Agencies nationally still will. But locally, nobody buys AFR because we walk in and say, hey, we had a 7.4 share last book. Like nobody ever. And I'm telling you, there's not a soul in this market or probably in this state that has more endorsement dollars on their show than me. And that's not a brag. That's just a fact. Like it's just like I know the market. I mean, and nobody has ever said, let me see what's your rating with men 25-54 versus persons 12 plus. It's not a thing anymore. So anyway, David said July is hot if you follow recruiting. Listen, this is what I pray for every year. Pray for LSU to go as far as they possibly can into the postseason, as far as they can into June. So look at last year. They played into the end of June. You had the afterglow of the championship at the beginning of July. Second full week of July, we're at SEC Media Days. The week after Media Days, the Saints report for fall camp. The week after the Saints report, LSU reports for fall camp. Then you're in training camp, fall camp, then preseason, then regular season, you're in it. So, like, there is no such thing as downtime anymore. There's always stuff going on. Like some days, it's a Monday after LSU lost to Florida State, and you know what you're talking about. Some days it's a little tougher to find what you're going to talk about, but it's like it's impossible to find. This means go find interesting stories and find a creative way to talk about it that's going to entertain your audience. Lisa, love your show. Miles, great. Thank you. Listen, because I want to hear your take and opinion on sports. Thank you, Lisa. Do you think Nuss will be better than Jaden? I do not. Jaden won the Heisman Trophy, was the number 2 overall pick, and had a season statistically unlike we've ever seen before when you look at the combination of both passing and rushing statistics and efficiency. So, no, I don't think he's going to be that good, but I still think he's going to be really, really good. All right, 2 more. Barry, love the show. Listen every day. Got to be up at 5. Go ahead, man. Appreciate you, Barry. Thanks for being there, man. Respect. Earl, you're right, man. I wasn't looking for compliments, but thank you. It's very nice to hear that. All right, I'm going to go because I have to go now put together this. I told Eric I was going to do a 30-minute show, and it's now been an hour and a half. All right, do me a favor. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. The one thing you can do for me, the one thing you do, if you got a roof issue, you can give us a shout at Parish. All the info is here on the bottom. You could tell a friend, a neighbor, a relative, a coworker, hey, Scone and Terrio and all those guys, same dude, just got a new company. It's Parish. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuild.com. Parishbuild.com. Kirk, I promise you I'm not in the doghouse. I'm just tired. Anyway, but tomorrow's going to be an awesome day. 30 minutes is the new 8 inches. Oh, man. Oh, God. I remember when Matt was Musa. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's when I worked with Ed Bugs. That was 2003, 4, 5, 6. And there are very few people who actually remember that. All right. I got to go. Y'all have a great night. Peace. Peace, peace, peace.